I can bring this to life? How can it help people? How can I, meet the needs of people and all? Now, I was not thinking this way when I initially started. So for me, it has been a change of perspective. I now think differently, and I I'm now looking forward to bringing a product to life myself.
All right. Thank you very much for that, Samuel. Thank you very much for that feedback. Thank you. I mean, it's important that you know that the role of a PM is a very encompassing role. Um, it's a lot of task. It's a lot of as a PM, you must be ready to read wide. You must be ready to put leg into waters you've not dabbled in before. And it's okay if you make mistakes the first time. It's okay, you know. Um, you must be ready to do a lot of research. You know, you would not understand or know the level of information that is out there. You cannot even fathom it. It's a lot, you know, that you have to deal with. And at the same time, it puts on your table the responsibility that, you know, you see things through. There's an inner sense of fulfillment and joy, that it gives you as a person that can sit down to plan this thing from start to finish. Then there's a greater level of joy when you see your strategy and you see that, all this thing I put my head to do is gradually forming bit by bit, It starts giving you some level of, and really that's product management, you know. So thank you very much for that feedback. Let's take one more person before we start. I think we're about 20 something people now. Okay. Who else is ready to go? Any other person? Like call name? Is it
Please
like
call
you?
Olusola.
Oh yeah, Olushala. I'm sure I should call Olushala.
He has left already.
Funny. Well, let me nominate somebody else.
Ogechi.
Ogechi, all right. Okay, Ogechi, yeah. Ogechi, we're waiting for you. Ogechi, can you hear us? I don't think she can hear us. So. Oh, yeah, Olushola is back. Oh, yeah, Olushola. You have clapped yourself back. Oh, yeah.
I don't know why that means exposing me.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
evening, everyone.
Good evening, Olushola. How are you doing?
Fine.
All right. So,
One of the things I think product management has done to me is it has actually opened my eyes to see that no matter what you're trying to do, there is nothing new under the heavens. Any product
wow.
you're trying to do, somebody has done something about it before. But you can just be coming up with a new methodology. Actually, when I started with my assignments along the line, I was just using one particular product along the line. So get to discover that there are diverse kind of that products available
In the market already.
in the market already. So it is just about you bringing more innovation to what you are doing. So
God
that
bless
gives
you.
me another edge to the fact that another thinking to the fact that no matter what you are trying to do, you need to do more research about whatever you want to do, whatever product you want to venture into.
Yeah.
Don't just come with any product that has not really solved any problem to anybody.
Mm.
Because along the line, there are products like that and people are not using it and they discover that it's not solving any problem. And you also bringing in another product of the same kind. So what is the problem you are trying to solve? So that is an eye opener to me, and it's it's actually a challenging one for us to prepare more and then um try to make more research about what you're trying to build.
All right.
That's all.
Okay. Thank you very much, Olushola. Thank you. I'm saying thank you, Chinenia. Thank you, everybody. All right. Good one. Good one. So, are we ready, guys? Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir, we can see.
So we are getting into deeper waters now, and I'm hoping that we can finish this week. If not, we might spill over into next week because this topic is actually very broad. You guys have done road mapping, epics, user story, OKRs last week, right? Am I right? Good. Awesome.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So are we ready to go? So everybody can see my screen, right? So this week we'll be talking about Agile methodologies, sprint planning, and feature prioritization. I know everybody's heard about Agile methodologies, so we start with Agile. So how many project managers do we have here? Is anybody a project manager here? Nobody's a project manager. Nobody's into project management here. Ahmed, you're into project management. Did Ahmed give a thumbs up?
So, project manager in the region was I worked with the project team before.
Okay, you worked with a project team before. Okay, you sound very far though. But the project team you worked with, did you guys use? I'm struggling to hear Ahmed though. I don't know if it's my network or something. You sound very far. Can anybody hear Ahmed?
Can you hear me, boss?
No, this is much better.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I said I've worked with the project team before. Project department.
Awesome. Okay. So did you guys use any Agile framework when you worked with them?
Yes.
Which ones particularly did you use?
Though I think that should be Jira and the likes.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you very much. All right. So we'll get into okay. Somebody else wanted to say something? Okay. Nobody. Somebody wanted to say something. All right. So we're talking about Agile methodologies, sprint planning, and feature prioritization this week. Hopefully we can finish this week. If not, we'll spill into next week. But from that lot, we will begin with Agile methodologies. So what is Agile methodologies? And why Agile? What is even Agile? What's the concept of this Agile? What do you guys mean by Agile? So you guys be prepared. You'll be learning a lot of new terminologies, a lot of frameworking, a lot of industry language. So don't be scared. Nobody's going to be asking you, but you know the way we try to do it here. We try to make you forget all the big languages, grammars. Try to understand the concepts. And this is why I'm asking you to understand the concepts. And if you don't get anything, get here. See, there are tons of tools out there. You understand? There are tons of tools. Man, it's like every developer is just developing their own tools, in product management. And they are not bad. They are not good. They are not wrong. They are not right. A tool is as good as the person wielding the tool. I always use an illustration. I think I used that illustration in the first class where I said, if your best tool is cutlass, don't go and carry machine gun to war. Carry that cutlass and know how to use it well. But what helps you use that cutlass very well is your level of understanding of how cutlass works, or your level of understanding of what you're trying to use that cutlass to achieve. Do you guys get me? Nobody's answering now. You guys get me? Are you guys getting my illustration? Yes, thank you. Yeah. Because if you don't understand the concept and the theory behind it, it will be hard for you. You will get to the point where you will not know how to use those tools. One of the tools is what Ahmed mentioned, Jira. So Jira itself is not a framework. Jira is a tool. So you have to use Jira to express a framework. So you can use any framework and still use Jira. But how do you know the framework you are using when you get on Jira? Or how do you know, how do you achieve an outcome with Jira if you don't understand the framework you're using? I don't know if you guys get it. So it's important that you understand the reasons, what went wrong, and the essence for people bringing out these methodologies as it were. Any questions? Hope I've not confused you guys, and I hope I've not scared you. But trust me, it's not hard. Just understand the concepts. That's all. And please feel free to drag me back, hold me back. If it's something I don't know, we'll pen it down and I will come back to it. But I really want us to understand this concept. It's very important. All right. So let's start. The concept of Agile itself as a body has been in existence way long before. It has been in existence in business, marketing, manufacturing, and even some government projects. As a matter of fact, some of these Agile frameworks were things that were lifted from manufacturing industries and some and market industries. So, for instance, some Agile framework came out from Toyota's work. Some came out from Microsoft's marketing. Before we now started adapting it into project and product management. The concept of Agile is pretty much very new. I think Agile is just about 20-something years old. I think they started in 1990, 1991. That's when they really started it itself. And really started moving into software development because they wanted to shift the focus of development, from boxed rigid plans. The way they used to do in those days. This is what we are doing. It's when we are ready, we are ready. So even if it takes them 10 years, nobody knows what they are doing. Then how will you spend 10 years to build something? So you guys imagine that you spend 10 years to build something. And you now find out that after that 10 years, you have built something users don't want. How do you think that would make sense? What do you think would be the outcome of that? 1 minute, guys. Just give me a minute. Excuse me. All right, sorry, guys. You guys get me? So you guys, can you imagine that concept? Imagine you are building a product. What do you think? What do you think that amounts to for a business or as a person managing that project? Guys, we do it too. It has to be interactive.
Waste of time,
waste of time, waste of money.
Exactly, So and that was where Agile started coming into. They needed to shift focus from rigid style of development into customer collaboration, rapid iteration. It means that how can we make something, that's meaning of iterate. How can we do something, fail at it, but be able to turn it around as fast as possible? How can we break down things into smaller bits? How can we break down development into smaller bits and be able to, pick on the one bit, work on the bits, approve it, make it done, move to another bit, take it, approve it, make it done, and we do like that on all the bits that make up a rigid plan. It solves the problem of slow delivery, lack of flexibility, and high project failure rates by introducing iterative workflows, cross-functional teams, and continuous feedback loops. Today, Agile is not just for software development, it's used in business, in marketing, in manufacturing, basically to enhance efficiency and innovation. So what was the problem like before Agile? In those days, it was basically a traditional method. It had followed a very sequential and linear process, one way, distinct phases. In those days when they used to develop software, it was basically this flow, you gather requirements, you design, you develop, you test, and you deploy. And guess what, guys? Guess what, guys? The design guy may not know that there's even an issue with his design until he's getting to the point of testing. So a developer must have developed the wrong design. Then they have to go back again and start the process. Do we see how time wasting that can be? You know, we used to call this method the waterfall method in development. This was what I'm sure some of you, anybody has heard about the waterfall method? Nobody? Good. All right. Thank you, Laba. You know, it was very challenged with lack of flexibility. You know, a phase has to be completed before you can move to another phase. You know, at times, multiple phases have to be completed before you move to another phase. It was difficult and costly to make changes. It required very long development cycles. Projects could take months and years before delivering a functional project. Then you delayed customer feedback. Users only saw the final product at the end, leading to misalignment with their needs. So it is when they see that they start knowing that, okay, it has this feature, it has this feature, it has this feature. Is it what I need? Is it not what I need? And it was also very characterized with very high failure rates. And as such, a lot of projects were abandoned mid-development, either due to changing requirements, budget overruns, or, you know, changing even client demands or needs. I just started finding out that clients did not need this again. So by the 1990s, you know, software development teams were already struggling with slow delivery, inefficiency, and high failure rates. And it prompted the need for a new approach. And that was what bettered Agile. So in February 2001, 17 software developers and thought leaders gathered at a ski resort in Snowbird, Utah, to discuss a lightweight development framework. They realized that traditional methods were very streamlined, it was rigid, it was slow, and it needed an approach that was more adaptable. From this meeting, they created the Agile Manifesto, which lays the foundation for Agile development till date. You know, so some of the key milestones in the Agile evolution, you had the birth of Scrum in 1986. And that's why you remember I said earlier that even predates, a lot of this Agile had been used in other frameworks, in other spaces. You had the Japanese introduce iterative and incremental development approach in their paper. That is one of the concepts of Toyota today called Kaizen. Anybody has heard about the concept, the L&D concept of Kaizen? Anybody? Okay, maybe I'll give you as an assignment. You can read on Kaizen by Toyota. It's an agile innovation and introduction into the agile style of developing, how they used to manufacture. It was a very big concept from Toyota, and is one of the concepts that has been pulled into Agile methodology till date. Then in the 1990s, you had the rise of more iterative models like RADs, extreme programming, and feature-driven development. Then in 2001 itself, the Agile Manifesto was published. It was officially introduced as a philosophy, as a framework for software development. Then in 2000, that framework started expanding more into Scrum and Kanban, which is being adopted in software development industry. Then in 2011, we went higher itself into scaled Agile framework, which is also an Agile framework called SAFe. Permit me to say that there are a lot more frameworks. You see, Agile itself is a course on its own, it's a certification on its own, you know. But also as product managers, we need to understand the concept and the underlying theory and theorem that powers this framework so that we can work with it and so that we understand the process itself. So if you want to pick up Agile itself as an additional study reference or study guide to either, you know, boost your profile or to boost your skill or to boost your understanding of how you're going to be working in this industry, it's fine. But I want you to understand that Agile itself is a broad topic. Just this few I've spoken, there are tons of Agile frameworks, there are a lot of them. At my last counting, I think there were about maybe 11 or 15 of them. And trust me, the way technology is now, you wake up, you sleep, and you wake up and you find out there's a new framework. And somebody has developed on that framework that has, ousted one framework because there was something from that framework that did not address something in the reality of what we are working with right now. I'm sure that most of this framework did not account for AI when they were pushing them. So you get. Any questions so far? Are we clear? Do we understand? Should I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Quick question, please.
Yes, please go ahead.
So, based on this Agile framework, is this where the product owner this thing comes to play now?
Yes, this is where the product owner comes to play. You're very correct.
Okay.
Thank you, Stephen. Yes. Toby Loba, you raised your hand. Is that Oreolua?
No, it's not me, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. So moving ahead, what is Agile itself? So Agile is a project management and product development approach that emphasizes flexibility, collaboration, and iterative progress. It was designed to improve efficiency and responsiveness, particularly in software development, but has since been widely adopted across various industries, including marketing, finance, and manufacturing. In fact, I think, it has been in those industries even before it came into software development itself. So the Agile Manifesto was introduced in 2001, and it lays down 4 core values of what the Agile framework is, of what the Agile concept is. Please don't forget this. As a product owner, and in any Agile role you are playing, there are 4 things you must always look for to make sure you are being you're on an Agile process. Individuals and interactions over processes and tools. What does it mean? So I'll give you a very funny example again. So in one of in my L&D days, we used to work for a multinational, Ericsson precisely, when they were still in Nigeria then, So if I have somebody that we are working in the same office, we are in the same office, so in the same office, and I'm making a request as small as something you can ask, alpha, they will send email. And it's not wrong, though. In fact, as a matter of fact, that's a professional way to do it. That's the professional way to the processes itself. But do you know that email can slow down work because I can say that I did not see it? It can even be lost. It can be my spam. Do you guys understand that concept? Now, imagine what we will have lost in time. It's something I can just have asked that, okay, alpha this feature, where are we? Are you guys getting that? Are you guys getting it? Guys, I need answer so that I know that I'm not just talking, we're understanding it. You are getting my illustration. Thank you, Ahmed. Agile is saying that individuals and interactions over processes and tools. It's not saying no processes and tools. Yeah? It's not saying no processes and tools. Institute your processes and tools, but also create individuals, create relationships over your processes and tools. So what does that mean? Chief, alpha, okay, is here. Yes, you've understood what is going. You've understood where you are, then you cannot follow it up with email. Am I speaking to someone? Thank you, guys. Value number 2, working software over comprehensive documentation. See, you can write all the theory. But what do you have as a point of reference to all your documenting? And this is where the concept of demoing comes up from. give me a demo. Let me see something. Let me have something to reference over the documentation. And that's why we started breaking that documentation now into PRDs, URDs, and a lot of things. And majorly the concept of what we now have called MVP, a minimum viable product. Give me something that is working. Let me see it. Even at the minimal level. Core value number 2, customer collaboration. What does this mean? As PMs working in an agile system, you must always endeavor that you are in constant communication with your clientele, with your customers, not just about drafting NDAs and this is our terms of reference, this is our privacy policy, this is our everything. This is how we work. No. You must learn to be able to get feedback from them also. And lastly, Agile doesn't believe in what you call a rigid plan. Yes, there are objectives, there are themes, there are what's the English now? There are goals we are trying to attain. There's a plan, but it's not rigid. We believe that 1 + 5 is 6, 4 + 2 is 6, 3 + 3 is 6, 2 + 4 is 6. Our plan is to get to 6. But we are flexible enough to know that there are tons of ways for us to get to 6. And we are ready and we are not scared, to follow any of those options. Comments? Do we understand? Additions, subtractions? Removals? Questions? Any question? Are we on board? Do we understand? All right, no questions. Should I go ahead? So someone is asking for the attendance link. All right. So we understand what is Agile. So why Agile? Like I said earlier, the traditional model, waterfall, it follows a linear phase-based approach that can make projects very inflexible, slow to adapt to change. On the other hand, is Agile. What does it do for you? What is the essence of Agile? It helps you respond quickly to market demand and customer feedback. Remember our core values of Agile. It helps us deliver value incrementally, reducing risk and improving efficiency. So you know what works fast, you know what doesn't work fast. It also helps us enhance collaboration between cross-functional teams, and it helps us improve customer satisfaction through continuous delivery and iteration. Basically, that is why we use Agile. We want to have better collaboration with team, improve our customer satisfaction. We also want to keep delivering value incrementally. We don't want to wait till 2 years before we now find out that did we deliver value or did we not. But if you are doing your value every 2 weeks, every month, every 3 months, every 1 month, you carry your customers along. You have greater following that way. And you get to be able to respond to, the market demands. What are customers asking? What are customers looking for? What do customers want? What's the pain point of customers? You get to respond to them faster using Agile, as opposed to, using the waterfall method. So what are the people that uses Agile? Startups, software development teams, large enterprises, project managers, and business teams. So if you guys don't mind, do you guys mind I'm a bit faster so that we can cover a lot today? Is it fine?
It's fine, sir. Fine, sir.
Or we should just go ahead? All right. Okay. Thank you. So what are some Agile methodologies. So like I said, Agile is a broad philosophy, and within it, there are different methodologies providing specific frameworks of how you can implement Agile. So some of the popular Agile methods it includes Scrum, Kanban, Lean, Extreme Programming, and SAFe. So for the purpose of this course, we can't take everything. So like I said, Agile itself, Agile itself is a program on its own entirely, that people get certified on. So for the purpose of this course, I'll focus majorly on Scrum and Kanban. Then I'll give you guys an assignment to go and work on Lean and SAFe. Then we'll come back and discuss it in class. Because as product managers, we must be able to research also. So in summary, Agile methodologies provide organizations with the ability to adapt to change, deliver value faster, and foster a culture of continuous improvement. So either you're using Scrum, you're using Kanban, you're using Lean, any Agile method you are adopting, it must lead you to higher efficiency, better collaboration, and increased customer satisfaction. You must be ready to adapt to change. You must be ready to deliver value faster and foster a culture of continuous improvement. That is why you're using Agile. So with that, we'll move to Scrum. Before I move to Scrum, do we all understand this background? Do we understand this concept? Do we understand this ideology? Are we together? Good. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, Toby. Thank you. All right. So let's move to Scrum. So like I said, this is not a Scrum class. This is not a Scrum training. Scrum itself is deeper than this. But for our roles as product managers, we'll get down to some level of depth of Scrum, understand the why, the reason, the benefits, how to use it, so that when we get into those spaces, you are not lost. When you get presented with any tool, you are not lost. You know what you are looking for. You know what you are trying to bring out. You know the information you are trying to look for. You are trying to work with in a Scrum system. That's the essence of having this here. But going deep down into the depth of Scrum, because Scrum itself, like you guys all know, Scrum is a certification on its own. Scrum itself is I think another 1 month or 2 month class. Then you do exam to become a Scrum Master. And I think even the Scrum Master is in like 4 or 5 levels also. So, but we can't go into all that depth from. Are we okay with that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, guys. So, who in this meeting has ever experienced anything Scrum? I mentioned they've used it before in this project meeting. Any other person has ever experienced anything Scrum? Nobody? That's interesting. Ahmed, yes. I know Ahmed said he has. Ahmed said.
No, boss. So I haven't used it before, but I've come across Scrum.
All right.
And I have a friend as well as a Scrum Master as well.
Okay, your friend is a Scrum Master. Oh, good. Awesome. So you see what I'm saying about the certifications and everything.
Sure.
All right, great. Chinenye too also mentioned she has come across Scrum. So what is Scrum? Like we mentioned earlier, it's an Agile framework. It's used to develop, deliver, and sustain complex products. It's iterative and incremental, enabling teams to deliver value frequently. It focuses on transparency, inspection, and adaptation. So it was developed primarily for software development, but now applied across industries. So, I mean, in the tech space, there's no way you even come across Scrum because a lot of people use Scrum, because really, like I said, in the tech space, we deal with a lot of software. So why Scrum? Of all the framework, why Scrum? Because it's believed basically that it encourages collaboration and self-organization. The faster delivery through short time boxed iterations where we call sprints. In Scrum, we work with sprints. It adapts to changing requirements with continuous feedback. That is, it is adaptable, you know. Then it also provides high visibility into project progress. When you look at your Scrum table, you know, okay, this is where we are with this project, with this product, this is where we are. This is the cycle we are on. This is what we are running at the moment. How does Scrum works? The lightweight framework, it divides work into time-based, time-box sprints of 1 to 4 weeks. Usually, I mean, a lot of people work with 2 weeks, but it's believed that any sprint should not be more than 4 weeks. It empowers teams to self-organize and work collaboratively as a team. And it uses structured roles, events, and artifacts to ensure its efficiency. And its aim is that at the end of each sprint, it can potentially ship a product increment. That's the aim. So we are saying that in 2 weeks, we should be able to have picked a product in our backlog and iterate on that product. Guys, remember when I said about, you know, we have broken up rigid plans into beats. So those beats are sprints. Are we clear? Do we all have understanding? Good. Any question? People are quiet today. Okay, getting into the deep waters. Any questions? Should I move ahead? Mary, you want to say something?
Yes, sir. Sir, I really do not understand the difference between sprint and beats that you have just mentioned.
They're basically the same thing. They're just it's just use of English. I started with beats, you know, because I didn't want to be technical at that stage. But just know that when I meant by beats, I also you can equate them majorly as sprints also. Colloquially, they don't have any correlation itself. I use beats in the sense of breaking down rigid plans, breaking down bigger things into smaller bits. That's when the option of bits came in. But when we are using a Scrum framework to operate in an Agile system, the technical word to use there are sprints. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that's why it came in. That's just so it's not like they have any togetherness or correlation itself. Any other question? No more question. Do we move ahead? All right, good. So what does the Scrum cycle look like? What does it look like running a Scrum? This is basically what your Scrum cycle looks like. You have a product backlog. You guys have talked about product backlog in last class, right?
No. Yes, sir.
Okay. Some people are putting, some people are saying yes, some people are saying no. Where do I start from now? Dami.
No, we've not done product backlog.
We've not done product backlog.
All right, it's okay. Are you sure you've not done product backlog? Or maybe you didn't understand the term of product backlog because there's no you'll have done product road mapping that you don't do backlog.
Yeah, I don't think Miss Pumlero talked about that.
All
It
right.
was just roadmap.
All right. So those but you have talked about epics, you talked about teams, you talked about user stories.
We've not talked about user stories, sir.
Ah.
And we've not talked about epics. She touched on roadmap and OKRs and what's the third one? I think strategy, product vision, and then
Vision, yeah.
OKR. Yeah, so she has not taught us epics and user stories.
All right. Okay. All right, guys, just give me 2 minutes. Let me pull out something on.
Sir.
All right, thank you. So, okay. All right, let me share my screen. 1 minute. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Okay. So sorry about that. All right. I actually thought you guys had discussed that. That was an oversight on my part because normally I should we always discuss what I don't know why we didn't discuss that. All right. So when you're talking about roadmap, when you're creating a roadmap, there are a set of features. Okay, or let me ask, how do you create roadmaps? Somebody give me an overview, What does your roadmap consist of? Or what is a roadmap?
The roadmap for short is the direction of what you want to achieve and
Okay.
your goals at the end of the day.
So as regard to product management, so when we say what is a product roadmap, how would you explain that? I'm not talking again. We're already entering the deep ends of. Yes, please go ahead, Samson.
Okay. Okay.
Or who raised your hand?
Yeah,
Sorry.
I did.
Okay.
A product roadmap, it outlines the vision of a product, the direction, the priorities, and also the product, the progress of a product over time.
All right. Good. Good. All right. So Biloba, you wanted to say something?
Yes, I just wanted to also add that a product's roadmap is how do I say it, like a product's vision board that makes or gives clarity, like a visual representation of um the how do I say it? A visual representation of a product goal and a product strategy, like the strategies that we need to put in place to achieve that product, and also the milestones, the key milestones that would be passed through in achieving
All right.
the success of the product.
Okay. So that's what I wanted to. That's what I wanted to. I wanted to be sure so that we are all on the same page. So there's a very underlining key factor or key core feature or core factor. Let me use that word in roadmaps, and it's one thing. It's called features. Basically, what your roadmap is showing is that we are going to release this feature at this particular time. Basically, am I right? Thank you. So basically, that's what your roadmap does. So letting your users or letting everybody know that, okay, these are the features we are releasing at so time. But what are features? What are features made of? And that is where we come to the concept of themes, epics, and user stories. So because I thought you guys had done it, so I didn't. So I had to just quickly, screenshot some things off from net. So you bear with me, but we'll talk about it. So what are themes? Themes are basically high-level strategic areas or objectives. OKRs. You guys remember? Are we together? That guide product development. Yeah. Is basically business goals and priorities. What are we achieving here? An example is what? We want to improve user engagement. But deep down, do you know that improving user engagement is relative? Do you guys agree with me? We can do tons of things to improve user engagement that is not specific. So if you tell a team we want to improve user engagement, okay, that's nice. That's where it will stop. Do you guys agree with me? It doesn't mean anything. So that now brought up the need to that, okay, how do we break down what improving user engagement means? Or how do we now segregate improving user engagement in a way that if person A comes to our plan board, he understands what this aspect of user improvement is, of user engagement improvement is. If person B comes, he has the same scope. So I'm not saying, I want to improve user engagement, and the guy is thinking, okay, let's add 4 buttons. Another person is saying, no, it's 3 buttons we're adding. There needed to be a form of cascading down the tiniest bits of specificity of what we have been doing, of what we are doing and what we are trying to achieve. So that when a designer comes, he knows that when he's designing, the outcome of his design is to improve user engagement. Are you guys getting me? Yes, please talk. If I'm confusing you, let me know so that I can go back. Thank you. And that was now from teams. We have highlighted what our objectives and key results are, what our business goals and priorities are. We call them teams in Agile. It now deals down to the next step called epics. What are epics? They are larger features or initiatives that needed to be broken down into smaller tasks. And what does that mean? You have your guiding objectives, but you need to break down that guiding objectives because under that objectives, there will be plenty tasks. There will be plenty rules. This is another example. Our objective is what? Is to improve user engagement. An epic under improving user engagement is what? Revamping. Can you guys hear me? Revamping onboarding experience. Can you guys think about another epic that can be under user engagement? Oh, yeah.
Revamping user interaction. Okay.
Sorry, can you hear clearly?
Says revamping how user navigates the app.
That's nice. Very good. So we can call that a personalized user experience. Right? Are you guys getting me? So that's an epic. Because the goal itself is to improve user engagement. What is user engagement? We want people to use the app the more. Are you guys getting the scope? That's the objective. Another one can be gamification and reward system. Because when people develop points and badges system, people just get to start using the app the more. Are you understanding it? That's an epic. Another one can be, what's it called? Interactive community features, where people can launch forums, social feeds, can share, can discuss, can review, can comment. Do you get it, guys? All these enables engagement. They are epics, but they are under a global theme of what? Improving user engagement. The objective is to improve user engagement. But under that objective, we have an epic. Any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, so you keep on mentioning gamification. Can you just break it down a little bit? What the concept is? Yes.
Gamification is so gamification is basically a form of reward system when we develop solutions. So basically it's saying that do something and end points. Do something or do something or achieve a level. So I'll give you a very good example. I think one of these e-commerce stores, I think after you have purchased maybe a particular amount, they put you at maybe gold star or something. Okay, let me give a regular example. How many people use OP here?
I use OP. I think I also want to point an example on a personal experience. I think my mobile app, Access Bank, that I use. Sometimes when you buy airtime or probably do transfer, they'll reward you like maybe give you 1 point, 2 points. God bless you. Accumulate it and you can convert it to airtime, something like that. So maybe
God bless you. That's exactly what gamification is.
Okay.
So now, in retrospect, does that make you use the app more?
Yes.
So in retrospect, has it improved the user engagement, the main objective?
I would say yes, 100%.
So are you getting the idea now?
Yes, sir.
Good. So to go deeper, under epics, we have things we call user stories. And these user stories are what we pick and combine as product backlogs. Are you guys with me? And it's basic. It's a small, specific, actionable work item. These are the items that when we call, how do I explain what work items are? You will understand it. It's because I'm going from back to front. You know? Have you guys seen a picture where you see a big board and you have what do you call this sticky tags on it, where they write different things, and people, you see them in the office moving it from one place to another. This is supposed to be under this section, this is supposed to be under that section. Guys, talk now.
No, sir.
Okay.
Is it the one?
No. We'll get it. Don't worry. Don't let me confuse you. So basically, user stories are those, I don't want to use the word beats. User stories are how we define this work for other people to pick and work on. Just pick it like that. You will understand it very shortly. What I'm saying is this, that you won't go to a developer and say, and give him an epic to work with. You won't go to a developer and give him a team to work with. It's top level. User stories are the work items. They are where people pick to work from. So what work am I doing today? That's a user story. Are you guys getting me? Are you guys to speak? Oh, no thumbs up. Oh. Did you understand what I'm saying? But I don't want to confuse you. I want to be sure we understand this ideology, this concept.
No, sir.
Not really. Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. All right. So when we set teams are objectives, right? We get that.
Yes, sir.
Good. And we understand epics, that we break the larger objectives down into smaller tasks.
Yes.
Now, those smaller tasks that are broken down epics to, we now present those smaller tasks as workable items. What do I mean by workable items? They are the work items that people that your sprint team members will work on. So your sprint team member will not go and pick an epic to work on or a theme to work on. On the top level, we know that what they will work with
Sir, please, I can't hear you.
Sorry, yes, I'm back. Sorry. So we understand themes. We understand epics. Yeah. What user stories are saying is that when you pick your epic, you already have an objective to improve user engagement. you have epics that are broken down the user engagement into different feature lists, into different smaller tasks. User stories are what breaks down epics into work items. How do I explain work items? Let me use the word work tasks. I don't want to use the work task again. I don't want to use the word task again, but for lack of a better word. So when I am a developer, when I need to work on something in a sprint, what I'm going to work on is a user story. What will be sent to me to work on will be a user story. You guys get it? Everybody has kept quiet too.
So is it a user story? Is it how the user will experience the product? Is that what's considered the user story? How they will experience the product?
Yes, partly. Yes. You can say that yes, user story is how a user will experience the product.
Okay.
I didn't want to say that last because of the example I want to give next, but I wanted you to understand the concept behind user story. That now, as your sprint team members, what we will work on, what each team member will work on are user stories. We call them user stories. And how do you see user stories? How do you receive them? You receive them with this format. As a user, I want to receive a welcome email after signing up so I feel connected to the product. So when this user story comes out, a developer knows what he's building. He wants to build a feature that allows a user to receive welcome email after the user has signed up. Do you guys understand that logic now?
Yes.
Ngozi, do you get it?
Yes, sir. I understand.
So basically, that is now the work I am doing. I am building a feature that allows a user to receive email after they sign up. As a developer, as a designer, sorry, I'm designing an interface that gives this, that allows a user to experience this. Do we get it now? What I am working with are these user stories. Now, a combination of a lot of user stories, that's what we have in our product backlog.
Say that again, sir.
Say a combination of different user stories. Now, don't forget, user stories are under epics. Epics are under themes. They lead to each other. Don't forget. But as a sprint team member, I am not going to be working with a team or epic, even though I understand that the purpose of this work I'm doing is to improve user engagement.
So, in essence, the user stories are used to create and enhance the product, correct?
A user story makes you experience what the user wants or what the user is saying.
Okay. So, but it can help you enhance the product by listening to the user story.
No. Okay. Enhancing the product, don't let's mix it up. Enhancing the product is a function of what your teams and your epics are. If you have a global objective to enhance the product, you will definitely have a user story that gives you a task that falls under you enhancing the product. So don't forget my example. Let's follow this example that is here. Guys, stay with me, please. We have an objective that we want to improve user engagement. That is, we have a platform that maybe the churn rate is high. People just come in, sign in, and nothing happens. Are you with me, guys? And the stakeholders have said that you know what? We want users to spend at least 1 minute or 2 minutes every time they land on this platform. So in that case, you have an objective to improve user engagement. Guys, sorry, I'm looking for my annotation stuff here on. Where is it? Sugar. I can't find it. Oh, I found it. Okay, awesome. Okay, so guys, let's go. You can all see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the board has given us a direction that, you know what, we want you to improve user engagement. We want people to stay more on the app. That is the objective. That's your goal. Like we said, remember, there are different epics that can be under these objectives. There are different things you can do to improve user engagement. We all agree, Abby?
Yes, that's right.
We said one is what? Revamp onboarding experience. What we mentioned here. What other one did we give? We mentioned gamification.
Gamification. Yes.
All right. So, and I like what happened. Then Steven asked me one question. What does gamification mean? Right?
Yes, sir.
So we have established what our themes are. We have established what our epic are. Now, when it gets to doing the work of the gamification, I won't just tell the team, okay, we are going to do gamification. There has to be a way it is presented that developer will know that this is the type of gamification we are doing. Okay, we want to gamify this app, but what do we want the user to feel, to experience while this is being done? You guys get it?
Yes, sir.
As a user, I want the user to experience gamification. Why? So that I want him to stay more on my platform. Are we together?
Yes.
We're together. We understand that. But as your team members, you're not just going to tell them, guys, we are doing gamification. No, what you're going to tell them is what you want the user to experience. So I will not write a user story. As a user, I want to be able to receive points when I make a transfer, which can be accumulated to buy airtime. Am I making sense, guys?
Yes, sir.
Does it, Toby Loba, do you guys get it, something?
Yes, sir, it's making sense, yes.
So, sir, I have a quick question.
Yes, please.
So, sir, so for clarity's sake, so we can say this user story is like a call to action for the software developers and the designers, like what they are going to build in a particular, let's say a week or probably 2 weeks, something like that.
God bless you.
Okay.
That's why we call it a work item, an item they are working on. But in you building it, you're not just telling them, do gamification, do this, no. Whatever you are doing, this is what we want the user to experience. We want the user to be able to receive points when it does transfer, and those points, he can use it to buy data when it is accumulated. That's a work item. Yes, Toby, please go ahead.
So, Mr. Maloney, if I get you clearly, I think from everything you've explained, I think the way I understand it, I don't know if I might be wrong.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, so if you're saying that the team is like the central idea, then the central idea is improve user engagement. So now you were saying that the epic is like the tasks that are like a large number of features that are broken down into tasks. So
Yeah.
but the large number of tasks, or let me say the large number of features that we need to do to create or improve user engagement is also pended on the user stories that come in, because he said in this epic here that it has to be categorized. That they
Yes.
have we have to categorize the user stories. So now the thing is that we're trying to improve the user engagement, and but it's not just one way to improve improve user engagement with
God
the
bless you.
product. So there are
Yeah.
different features in Epic that can actually lead to a user engaging more with that product. So the
Exactly.
user story would capture the different types of features that the users need to engage more. So some might say, oh, I want more gamification. Some might say, oh, I want gamification. I want email and a welcoming email when I sign up, or something like um how do I say, those different features that the users would like say that they want, which would actually help them improve their level of engagement with that product. So
God
I
bless
don't know
you.
if I'm on the right page with you, sir.
Yes, you're on the thought right. You're on the right thought stream. Yes. So all those features, they are epics.
Okay. So the user story will capture different types and then we'll now categorize it under epics.
Exactly. All those features are basically your epics. Your user stories,
Okay.
your user stories are work items that need to be done to achieve that feature. So you can I can say revamp onboarding experience, but it is largely doesn't make sense. You know why? It doesn't tell you what to do categorically. Because revamping onboarding experience can be a lot of things. You can also do a lot of things to revamp experience. It's not specific. So the specificity in that is that whatever you are developing in this item, in this user story, in this work, as a user, this is what I want to feel when I use your app. I want to receive a welcome email after signing up, so I feel connected to the product. As a developer, you know that you are writing a script that whenever a user signs up, he gets a welcome email. That's what the developer is doing. The designer knows that he needs to create an interface where a user can sign up and an interface for a welcome email. Are we getting it? This is where the work is done. This is what is telling you what to do. This is what the user wants to do. This is what the user wants to experience. Guys, remember what we started with, pain, product, and vitamin. This is what creates either the pain or the vitamin. But while you are creating the... Yes, please go ahead.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, sir. I'm so sorry,
It's
sir.
okay.
But
It's fine, totally okay.
okay, sir. Just the way you're explaining now. So if I get you clearly, sir, does it mean that in cases like this, when we now have a lot of user stories, which are also work items that make
Yes.
us know how to achieve the thing. So
Yes.
is it that just like what you said, the pain products and the vitamin products, there's something that our second tutor Fumilayo taught us about prioritizing the task, prioritizing the futures to be. So does it now also apply also in this is it epics when we are categorizing the user stories or the workable items for us to
Yes.
know the most needed future down to the
Yes.
least needed future, from the
That's
pain product to the vitamin.
exactly what we are discussing today. That's exactly what we are doing throughout this for this week. Knowing what to build, where to build, when to build, how to build it. But before you know what to build, you must have a log of what is needed. Are you guys with me? Are you guys with me?
Yes, sir.
Good. So the combination of all your epics and user stories, in fact, I'm some part of your teams. That's what we call the product backlog. Just like it is said, it is a log of work. Also, the combination of all of these three is what accumulates into a roadmap. Basically, it is an high-level timeline or plan that outlines the direction of product development. What are we saying? We have gathered 5 themes that we want to release in Q1. That's a roadmap, and you list the 5 themes. Are you with me, guys? Does that align with what you have learned? Does that align with what you have learned and your understanding of roadmap?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Good.
That aligns well.
So we all have a concept of what themes, epics, and user stories are now. I know it's getting a bit deeper now, but don't get lost. Just write it down somewhere. You don't need to cram it. Are we good? We're all clear, Abby?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So let me show you these 2 images to further explain it. I just pulled out these images online, to be very fast. So just like we explained, themes, they are the ones on top. Overall goal. Epic, under one theme, this is one epic, this is another epic. These are features. Feature 1, what is these features? Add new video section, that's a feature. Another feature, improve login page usability. All this, they do what? They increase web traffic. Do you agree? Good. Now, what is the user story? What are the work items? I would like the validation on the login page to be very clear so that I can easily see when or if I make a mistake when I log in as a user. Work items. Now, task. Developer, designer, QA. For some people, they will not even leave. They will not even give you the task. They'll just leave it as user stories for you. With user stories, you know what you're designing. You know what you're working with already. Do you guys agree with me? For instance, this user story, is it clear enough? Does it need any other task? Yeah, you guys, let's discuss. This user story. Imagine you're a developer or a designer. How many people are designers here? You've done any form of product design or development? Mary, yes, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. With the user story, it's actually very easy because by the time I create a login page, if I make a mistake in the password, especially if I already signed up before, if the password is wrong in the database, if it's not corresponding with whatever is written in the database, it will immediately tell you that either your username or your password is wrong. A whole lot of us have seen it when we are all trying to log in and we make mistake one way or the other. Or when you want to sign up and it's giving you, oh, it has to be 8 characters, you have to have numbers, you have to have exclamation mark, criterias and criterias. It's easy to understand. So with user story for a web developer, I already have what I need from you. You already told me exactly what you want me to do. I don't need any more, unless you want me to split the job with another person, like the back end now. If I'm doing designing the front end, the back end can now be the one designing the other parts. So that can be another way of saying you want to do that can be where the roadmap can come in, if it's more than one person that is working on the website.
Good. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mary, for that example. So pretty much it's clear. Developer already knows what he wants to do. Input to match database. If it doesn't match database, let it show fast. It's simple. It doesn't even require any other additional task. It's simple what he wants to do. So when the developer picks up this work item that this is what I'm working on today, or this is what I'm working on for the next 2 weeks, as an example, And guys, don't forget, most times, your sprints are based on features, not on user stories. Do we get it? So if you pick up a user story, say, this is the user story I want to achieve today, it ties to a feature, epic. Are you with me, guys? So we are clear now. We understand the scope. Good. So we can now go back to where we started from. The Scrum cycle. So now we know what product backlogs are. I've mentioned it tonight too. So I thought me tell me what are product backlogs.
Yes, so product backlog are the accumulation of what's it called? Escape my mind.
User
User stories. Yes, user stories, epics, and also teams.
God bless you.
Accept.
God bless you. Basically, these are product backlogs, and that's how the Scrum cycle works. It starts with the product backlogs. You have an accumulation on everything. So from the product backlog, you move to the next step, which is sprint backlog. What is a sprint backlog? You remember what I said, guys? Sprint is a bit. You're not doing everything. So sprint is saying that, okay, how many things at least? Let's do it colloquially. So for instance, if you look at this, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 A&B. Good. You have a list of logs that are listed. You pick out of the logs that these are the things we are working on in this sprint period. What is a sprint period, guys? Are you with me, guys? Guys are not talking now.
I'm sorry, sprint period is from the explanation, the sprint period is the time frame
God bless
in
you.
which the task has to be completed.
Exactly. So if we have picked 2 tasks out of this product log, we are saying that 2 epics, we want to finish 2 epics in this sprint period. We want to finish 2 epics in 1 to 4 weeks. Are you with me, guys? Those epics you picked, they become your sprint backlog. Now, once you have identified what your sprint backlog is, you move to the stage of planning. What do you do in planning? All the backlog you have picked, the sprint backlog you have picked, you start selecting the user stories and the tasks under them, or interpreting them to tasks. That's what you do during sprint planning. That, okay, this user story, these are the tasks I'm doing there. This is what I'm doing. Everybody understand it as a team. We get. Then you move to the point of sprint execution. This is the team work on task daily. That's the implementation stage of your Scrum cycle. Then you move to the stage of reviewing the work that has been done. But as you are reviewing the work that has been done, there's something we'll call stand-up in Scrum, or some people call it daily Scrum. What are daily Scrums? They are quick updates on the progress of the product, of the feature you are working on, or the task you are working on. How many people have heard of stand-up before? So you call somebody and they'll tell you that I didn't want stand up now, I didn't want stand up now, I'll call you later.
Meeting.
Exactly. They're basically meetings. But they're just very short meetings. Ideally, I mean, in Scrum, they believe that no stand-up should be more than 15 minutes. What have you done? Where are you? Chap, chap, everybody go. And that's why you will see that most people do it very early in the morning before they resume for the day, or late at night. I prefer the morning style. After your review has been done and you have demonstrated that your work has been completed, you have what you call a sprint retrospective. That is where you reflect upon. You cannot make us stand up or no, because it's supposed to be a short meeting. It's not a long meeting. Don't mix it up. You have a retrospective where you now sit down and analyze your Scrum process, everything you have done on that Scrum, everything you have done under that sprint. I beg your pardon. Are we clear? Questions, answer. Do you understand that cycle? Or do you want to know, or do you want to discuss further? So guys, it's getting a bit deeper, Abby.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, Chi, you want to say something? It's getting deeper.
I say it's getting a bit deeper.
Yes, it's fine. It's okay. Don't worry. Don't be discouraged. It's simple. But as it's getting deeper, I hope you're understanding the framework, the understanding, the foundation of this. It's very important. That's why I'm taking so much time. Because once you understand that foundation, anywhere in the process you find yourself, you'll be able to manifest your skill as a PM.
Sir, can you repeat that, please? I missed that.
Yes. So I said, once you understand the foundation, yeah, anywhere you find yourself in the product management value chain, you'll be able to manifest your skill or your experience as a PM. I'll give you a very, very good example now. So just see what happened now. I thought you had, done epics and all of that. I came into class, I found out that you guys have not even done it at all. If I don't have the foundational knowledge of it, I won't be able to pull out what I pulled out to come and explain that concept to you now. Do you guys get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So that's why I'm taking time for us to understand the knowledge, understand the basic, understand the foundation. It's very important. All of the other peripherals and all those stuff, once you lay it on the foundation, it will illuminate. All right. So can we go ahead? Are we good? Nobody has a question. So we all get this foundation. We all get this concept. Yes, Samuel, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. What's the duration of a sprint? Like, how long does a sprint last?
Well, the sprint framework advises 1 to 4 weeks. But at the same time, sorry, let me reframe. The sprint framework says 1 to 4 weeks, but it always advises 2 weeks. So at the worst case scenario, a sprint should not be more than 4 weeks. I've known people that have done sprints of 6 weeks before. So at times it might depend on your organization and all those stuff. You understand what I'm saying? So remember what I said earlier, that a lot of these agile frameworks have been tested, iterated, added, removed, So there are some other frameworks that will tell you that it can go longer and things like that. And more frameworks will just keep coming in. But for Scrum, it recognizes a 1 to 4 week period for a sprint, but advises that it should usually be 2 weeks. Okay, Ahmed wants me to partially, you want me to summarize the Scrum cycle. Ahmed, explain exactly what you don't understand about the cycle, so I know where I'm focusing on.
I'm very sorry, boss. Actually, I
No,
please.
Again. Nothing to be sorry about.
So because I wasn't on the call when you were actually explaining. That's the reason why I just need the summary.
Okay,
so sorry about that.
All right, okay. So I'll just summarize it. All right, Samuel, your hand is up.
Yes, sir. I was going to ask another question. What happens if a sprint review is being carried out and you discover that
you spend more
due
than
to
4
one
weeks
reason or the other, you're not able to complete the tasks for that sprint? They move it to the next sprint, or they just move on to the next feature?
All right, that's a very good and intelligent question. I like that question. So this is what happens. You have stream retrospective. Retrospective is where you talk about what went bad, what happened, what are you mad about, what are you sad about, what are you glad about. Because you have to understand, why it couldn't achieve it under 2 weeks. Are you with me? It now brings you back to your planning stage. And in your planning stage, will now determine if you want to put it back in the product log or you want to put it back as a sprint backlog and you run another sprint on it. Are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
Does that make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, good. So I mean, briefly, so like we said, when you have collated all your epics and your user stories, you have them as your product backlog. Once you select out of the ones you want to work on for a sprint period of 2 weeks, the epics you have selected are what we call sprint backlog, because those are the log of that sprint you're working on. So imagine I pick 2 epics out of my product backlog. I'm having 2 sprint backlogs. Then we start our planning phase, where we now start selecting the user stories of the epics and the task of that epics. And we break it down into tasks. That's the planning phase. Once we are done planning, we start work. That's the execution and implementation. Once work is in progress and it's being done, we start a review session. Review is basically demonstrating a completed work, that this work has been finished. But before it gets to the stage of being finished, we have things we call daily scrum. We call them daily stand-up. They are basically 15 minutes daily meetings that, breaks down what has been done today, what the person has worked on, what the person is working on, what the stage is and everything. It's still a level of review. Once you are past the level of completion, you have what you call a sprint retrospective. Basically, it is where you reflect and improve on what happened during that sprint period. What were you mad about? What were you glad about? What are you sad about? What should you continue? What should you stop? What worked? What did not work? Do you guys know what I meant?
Perfectly, boss. Perfectly.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, John. So with that, we move to Tobiloba, please go ahead.
Okay, so I would just like to ask that how many epics can a sprint team focus on within a sprint?
So that's depending on a lot of factors. How large your team is, the strength of your team, your budget as an organization. So what do you mean by the budget? Some people can have 10 developers. You understand what I'm saying? With 10 developers means you can pick on more epics. But you cannot have one developer and you realistically know that this developer, it takes his time to work. You cannot rush him. And you know that maybe you can only deliver one epic in 2 weeks, but you're packing 3 epics for him. As a PM or PO, and you guys will notice why I'm saying or PO now, because most times the responsibility of a Scrum cycle belongs to a Scrum Master or a product owner, not necessarily the product manager. So in proper organization, don't let me use the word proper organizations. In professional settings, you have people that actually manage the Scrum process. And that's why I said Scrum itself, it's a training on its own. It's another course entirely on its own. Because relatively as a PM, it's not your job to manage the Scrum cycle. You will come to that. But in most settings also, well, that I've seen, most times the PM is also the product owner. And that takes us to our next slide. What do you guys see here? Or what do you think is missing here?
Scrum.
Scrum rules, good. What do you think is missing?
Product manager.
God bless you. You will notice that in these Scrum rules, there's no product manager. Thank you, Ahmed. Have you guys seen it? Why do you think so? Let's discuss.
You've said it earlier on now, like,
oh, that's true.
Yeah, the Scrum rules is basically either the product owner, Scrum Master, I think between the two of them. So,
all right. So why do you guys think it's like that? Yeah, guys, let's talk. Wow, I didn't even look at the time. It's already 9 o'clock. So guys, what do you think? We still have a very long way to go. Should we continue or should we move till Saturday? Or should we do another class during the week? Because out of all the Agile framework, we are still on number 1. You're laughing. Class, where's the class captain? That me and Samuel.
I think we should continue for 30 minutes then.
Yes, sir.
Is everybody okay?
The rest on Saturday.
We should do till 9:30.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Okay, so let's go. So it's basically simple, like I said. In the Scrum role, there's no PM role in the Scrum role. What you have is a product owner role. And from this, you will see that their roles are basically outlined. So if you follow this chart with me, let's go together. You've ranked your logs. You already have your product logs. You've done your meeting. What do you see here now? The product owner. What's the color of the product owner? Blue. Are you guys with me? Just follow my illustration. No? The team members, what's the color you see there? The green, purple, and orange, right? The Scrum Master, what color do you see? Red. Yeah, with me? All right. So, you have your sprint backlog. Product owner collects inputs from executives, team, stakeholder, customers, and users, and from the product manager. Who is responsible for all of this? Who is responsible for all of these guys?
Product owner.
Product owner.
Product manager is responsible.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
The PM is responsible for all of this. This is where the PM comes in this role. So PM gets all these and gives it to product owner. Product owner collects all this information, picks all the product backlogs, plan the sprints, puts it into motion. The sprint starts. Who is working on this sprint? The development team. Are you with me, guys? Good. In this same process, don't forget we have the review section. In the review section, what are the people in the sprint review? Remember our colors.
The Scrum Master and the development team.
And the product owner.
Product owner. Yeah.
Same thing in the Scrum meeting. Same thing in the retrospective. When the work is finished, who collects the work?
Product owner.
God bless you. So it means what the product owner guides the product from, from whatever stage it is to it being finished. If you look at the roles, what are their roles? Simple. What's the role of the product owner? It defines visions, prioritizes backlog, represents shareholders. What are his responsibilities? He manages the backlog, all these backlogs. He communicates with customers and ensures business value. Then we go to Scrum Master. Are you guys with me? It facilitates the Scrum process, removes blockers, and ensure Agile principles. Remember our core, the 4 core values of our Agile. It is the Scrum Master that is responsible for that process. So everything that happens from here, all through here to here, the Scrum Master that owns it. You see that's why he's in this box. The development team. This is a cross-functional team that builds the product increments. Self-organizing, they collaborate and deliver high-quality products. So all the implementation part, all these implementation parts. So this is your development team. This review is development team plus Scrum Master and PO. Retrospective, all of them again. Backlog, sprint backlog, that is PO. Planning, everybody. Daily Scrum, everybody. But also in recent terms, is that we have found out that a lot of times. So you see why I said, it's good to have the basic function of you understanding what Scrum is, what the Scrum process is like. But the real role of a Scrum cycle, maintaining a Scrum process, belongs to the Scrum Master. So ideally, in a proper organization, you should have a PO, you should have a Scrum Master for all of your Scrum cycle. But in reality, a lot of times you find out that, PM just cross-carpets these 2 roles. Is it good? Well, I cannot say yes and I cannot say no. But we get the drift. Ahmed, yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, bros. In
Yes,
hierarchical order, so who can we now regard as a probably director of product among the product owner, Scrum Master, and PM?
None of them.
Okay.
Do you guys know that?
Do
you guys know that in terms of hierarchy itself, a PM is not senior to a developer?
Okay.
Just take that. They are practically all on the same level.
But basically, all PMs are directors and developers.
You said what?
Basically, PMs, directors, and developers. As in I know the affairs of developers, because what they actually want is what they are going to tell the developers.
No. The PM is not telling the developer what he wants. The PM is telling the developer what has been researched and what has been agreed based off the direction given to the PM from the stakeholders. So it's not his own idea. He's not telling them this is what I want you to do. He's showing them a goal. This is where we are going. Remember our first class. The PM is the hub. The PM is the person that joins everybody together in that cross-functionality of the whole space. The PM is in that middle. So it's not like he's senior to the developers. That's why you will normally have PMs, regular PMs. Then you will have people like senior product manager. That senior product manager is senior to the product manager, not to the developers. So it means that maybe there's a senior, there's a higher role in a scope. What do I mean? There is a main product. Remember when we are talking about types of product manager, and I mentioned AI product manager, because a company wants to integrate AI into their business. They have an AI manager, an AI PM. An AI PM will be senior to every other PM that are managing their products, because he gives them back a framework to introduce AI into the product they are all managing individually. That AI PM will also be reporting to maybe a director of product or VP of products. So the hierarchy level is on the PM scale, is on the PM role, not on the product value chain. Mercy Paul, you raised your hand. You wanted to say something?
No, sir, I'm fine, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
all right. You know, Ahmed, do you get that now?
Yes, sir.
Don't
But
be like
basically
this.
now, sorry to ask you, because I actually want to know the main what's it called, product owner and scrum master, likewise the PM now. Those three bodies.
So let me put this example. Let me give you this example. Is the engine of a car more superior to the tire of a car?
Engine, I think engine is more
engine.
both, Abby. This is logical.
They need each other. They both
But
need each other.
mechanics usually say that engine is the essence or the heart of the car.
Okay, so the engine, let's call it a V12 bi-turbo. Sound perfect, brand new, and there are no tires on that vehicle. What will happen?
It's not going anywhere.
You said what?
I said it won't go anywhere. No tires, yeah?
Exactly. So in that sense, are you going to say one is superior to each other?
They have to work together, yeah?
No.
Exactly. They complement each other.
They need
And that
each
is
other.
exactly. And that is what we are as PMs. We complement everybody's role to achieve a greater goal for the business. In that retrospect, look at it. The PM's job is to make sure that the car keeps moving. So it necessarily doesn't mean anybody is higher or anybody is senior. And trust me, yes, to be I agree with you that it looks like developers get to earn more than us, but there are PMs that earn more than some developers. I tell you, I personally know someone that does about 150,000 USD every year as a PM. And at the same time, I know developers that are not doing more than 70 or 60. So there's no one size fits all, because the shoes are different everywhere. But in the real sense of product management, the PM is not senior to the developer. In fact, the PM is not the developer's boss. In fact, the PM definitely does not report, the developer does not report to the PM. The developer will most likely report to maybe the head of technology or a CTO.
CTO, yeah.
And for some companies, their CIO. So are we clear?
Yes, sir. Just a quick one.
Yes, boss, please go ahead.
So basically, there are some companies that can have like more than one PMs.
Yes, a lot of, there are more than, as at my last reading, I think there are more than 100 PMs in Google.
Wow.
I don't know the actual number now, but
Sir, please, I can't hear you.
So I said as of my last reading, as of my last reading, there are more than 100 PMs in Google. When you call your mood has changed, okay? What changed your mood when you call that?
In fact, more than 1,000 at Money Point as well. Developers, engineers.
In fact, why I even ask that question, because sometimes when I'm going through my LinkedIn, I'll just see a post from the same product manager. They'll be looking for another, product manager in the same organization.
Definitely, because maybe they have broken their products into different bits. Remember what we said the other time? They are growth product managers. Their focus is growth. I am more of a technical product manager. Good enough for me because I have very technical background. So it's something I can close my eyes and you wake me up and yes. If you put me in growth, not because I won't deliver, but I'll have to do some research, adjust myself. You understand? It was in this class and I was giving an example. We're on a stand-up and I just came into that team. And one of the mobile days was just, developers at times, we like to show ourselves that who are you, who you be, where you come from. And we had agreed that this is what we are doing, this is what we are going to do and everything. And he already had his user stories of what he needed to do. And at the meeting, he was saying, it's not possible. Me, I use that word, it's not possible. Right there in the meeting, on the chat, I started typing him and sending him the code. Oh yeah, test this, test this, test this. At the third instance, one of it worked. So I like, alpha. I didn't know you're a developer too. I said, well, it happens. So I copied it from Google. So over time, a lot of organizations have had to, require multiple PMs for different aspects of a product. Even on some products. If you guys have seen or have noticed anything in product management, you will see that it is a lot of documentation, it's a lot of researching, it's a lot of meetings, it's a lot of talks, it's a lot of people management. Do you guys agree with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, 100%.
You are basically the framework that everybody is running on. You are the glue that binds everybody together. There's no Oga, there's no Moshe. Your job is to keep the car moving to a particular goal. Guys, you know what? This 8:30 is somehow, but let's try and finish Scrum. All right. Can I go ahead? Any more questions? Can I go ahead? Can we go ahead?
Yes, sir. Let's go ahead, sir.
All right. So what are your Scrum ceremonies? Basically, like I've explained, the activities that happen during Scrum. Those are what you call Scrum ceremonies. There are 5 key Scrum events: sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint execution, sprint review, sprint retrospective. We've spoken about that now. Thank you, Mary. We've spoken about that. We've spoken about product backlog, sprint backlog. I've taken all of that. Increment, we've spoken about that also. So we also spoke what is a sprint. So it goes back to the person that was asking me the question in mind. I've forgotten. I was talking about beats. It's basically a time-boxed iteration of not more than 4 weeks, usually 2 weeks, whose goal is to deliver a potentially shippable product increment. Guys, did you see the English I use there? Shippable product increment. So it might be a bit of something large. It doesn't have to be something large. Like I said, it takes us back to our epic and our theme. Are you guys with me? We want to increase user engagement, but one factor of user engagement is what? Increase onboarding, improve onboarding. That's a bit of the whole entire process. The scope is fixed in the sense that the objective is fixed. This is what we want to get to. But the deliverables can evolve based on feedback. It means that what? Okay, so let's do gamification instead of user onboarding. Gamification will hold them back more. We move to gamification. You understand? But that scope is still the same. That objective is still the major thing. We are improving user engagement. And I wanted to talk more on this definition of done. In Scrum, you always see definition of done. And why it is very important, definition of done is simple. That you know why? And this is a very funny line. How do you know how does your developer know that he is done? Are you guys with me? So you give somebody a sprint to work on. How would the guy actually know that he is done? That's what we call definition of done. Because before you come to the team and say that I am done, there has to be a set of yardsticks to say that. Before you can say you are done, you must have achieved 1, 2, 3. So that when he is working and he knows that, okay, I have done 1, I have done 2, I have done 3, it means I'm done. Because you cannot leave it to chance and leave it to assumption for someone that will just say that, okay, I think I'm done. But when everybody looks at you, I'll be like, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? I'll be like, nobody told me now. So that's why the essence of definition of done came out. It's basically a shared understanding of when a task is considered complete. It ensures consistency, quality, and readiness for deployment. You don't want to flag something as done, then when it gets to keyway, you find out that it's just 30% of what was expected. But when there's a definition of done scope, you as person working on a work item, you can gauge yourself, remember about self-collaboration in Scrum. Can I go ahead, sir? Yes. Good. So I'm trying to rush because of time. We still have a very long way to go. So what are the benefits of Scrum? Why do teams use Scrum? It helps improve adaptability to change. It improves faster time to market with frequent releases. So because you are pushing so much features, it helps entry markets easily. It includes better team collaboration and morale. Because you guys are talking and doing 15 minutes every day. It improves customer satisfaction due to early and continuous delivery because your customers they keep getting updates. They are happy, they are good. I'll give you a very good example. So on another side of me, I do a lot of live production and events. The big ones are not the small ones, And there's this one of our particular equipment that we use. Permit me to say that every single time I put on that device, there's already an update. In fact, this company, they have a Facebook group. They are that bad. They have a Facebook group that if you think that your device should be able to do this, just go to that Facebook group, go and put it there. By the time you're having the next event and you say, let me just check, you put on the device, it's an encoder. Let me update. Most of the things you have requested that they should put as updates, it's already there. What that does for me is it definitely buys loyalty into that company that I'll never leave these people. They're always listening to me. Even if other people are telling me that there's a cheaper one, there's this one. The device costs us almost about a lot of millions. We'll still stay with it to say, no, this one we are using. We know ourselves. And it works that way. And that's PM, that's Scrum. Also, one of the benefits, thank you, Toby Love. Thank you very much. is the higher product quality through incremental improvements. Because you are doing things bit by bit, it's easy for you to keep getting, just like the experience I gave you now. They are taking us to a particular theme, but they are releasing it in bits, small by small. Add this one, add this one, add this one. In essence, they are building a very strong product for me. Very good product with very good quality that I know that I can use to do professional jobs. It means that if I have to do a job with CNN, I am confident in that product. I am confident that that quality is at that standard. So what are the best practices for successful Scrum? Clearly define roles and responsibilities. Don't forget, that's why we had roles. What is everybody doing? What am I doing? What is my responsibility in this sprint process? Keep sprint goals realistic and achievable. I'll give you an example now. Don't have one developer and load them with the work of 10 developers. Then you say they are not developing, they are not working. Also, you must encourage open communication and feedback. That's the essence of Scrum. So are you getting to the point where we are getting now that you see that nobody is above anybody? Because everybody must freely, openly communicate and give feedback. Also, it is important that you use sprint retrospectives for continuous improvements. Your sprint retrospective is not your HR meeting, or what do they call it? End of year reports. It is for improvements on the sprints, not as a person. Also, it's important that you limit work in progress to prevent overload. Do you know what work in progress is? Work in progress means that the tasks, the work items you are working in at the moment. So from some people, you will find out that based on the organization, they will never have more than 3 WIPs, 3 epics they are working on per sprint. That's their WIP, that's their work in progress. It must not pass 3 for some organizations. For some people, it's 5. For some people, it's 1. And we think their power carry be that. So what are some of the challenges in Scrum? Lack of product backlog refinement. It's very important that as a PM, a PO, you refine your backlog properly. That's the essence why we need to have epics, we need to have teams, and we have user stories and tasks. If this is not properly refined, people will not know what they are working on. So everybody will not be working scatteredly or why they are working. Also, it's important there's a difficulty in maintaining team discipline and focus. If a refinement is bad, it will be difficult to focus that thing because everybody is working on different things. Also, unrealistic expectations from stakeholders. I mentioned something now. You have one developer, but they want you to do the work of 10 developers at the same time. That's very unrealistic of them. If they want to that, okay, your WIP is too slow. You're only working on 3. We need you to work on 10. Yeah, they should be able to give you 15 developers that will help you achieve that also. Then also, it comes down to also resistance to change from traditional management is one of the issues of Scrum. Especially when you're working with one-man business. This is how I do my thing. I understand my business. You cannot tell me how to run you always get that. These are one of the challenges of Scrum. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we'll call it a day. It's already 8:30.